Meat goats in Texas are a huge industry. I think we have about 37% of the nation's meat goats here in the state of Texas. And last year we estimate that the total volume or the total market was about $120 million in 2015. So pretty big market, significant economic engine for the state of Texas. We just finished a formal price analysis of the goat market here, specifically in San Angelo. We have what is essentially the largest sheep and goat market in Texas and the country. So it is kind of important what goes on here at Producers Livestock, because it probably does have some bearing on other livestock markets across the country. So we were looking at goat prices from 2010 through 2015, and in general what we saw over that period of time was a generally increasing price levels. Keep in mind that during that same time frame, goat inventory is actually dropping both in Texas and in the U.S. So we've got an increasing demand from our growing ethnic populations across the U.S. and a decreasing supply of goats, and the result is we saw generally increasing prices. Another thing that we found that's kind of interesting is most of our in most livestock species we see the price per hundred will drop as the animal weight increases. For the kids, we actually see increasing prices up to about 60 pounds. So producers can increase their gross revenue per animal by selling animal, feeding them, if you will, or allowing them to stay on the range until they get to about 60 pounds. And then once past 60, the price per hundred starts to drop. Finally, one of the things we've seen is there is not as much premium for selling kids in large lots. Again, for sheep and for cattle, we typically see a greater price for animals that are sold in larger groups. But once past about 6 head per lot, any additional premium for a large lot is pretty much insignificant past about 12 head. So again, that maybe makes this more appealing for some smaller producers. They don't have to work. They're not going to be discounted for bringing some small groups to the auction. I think it's the future. Actually, I think is pretty bright for the goat industry as a whole. That segment of our population that prefers goat is growing, and we're finding maybe that there is a place in our range management for goats, whether it's reducing fuel loads for fire purposes, controlling noxious weeds, increasing the range efficiency by consuming some plants that cattle or sheep won't consume. You couple that with strong prices and the demand for the final product. I do think that the future for the goat industry is fairly bright.